Good evening, you beautiful souls. How was everybody's Mother's Day today? How was your Mother's Day? The vast majority of us is having a happy Mother's Day. Spending time with our mothers, cooking for our mothers, giving presents and cards to our mothers. Even if your mother has passed away, you have fond memories of your mothers, right? But what about the few of us who don't have a happy Mother's Day? You know, Mother's Day was hard for me today. I was sitting in church and everybody was like, "Oh, happy Mother's Day. If you're not a mother, everybody has a mother, and we should all love our mothers." Well, guess what? I don't love my mother. I don't love my mother. I don't love my 5 foster mothers. I don't love my mothers. Sorry, I just don't. This was my mindset when I was coming into church this morning. And this morning, we talked about the 4th commandment: honor thy father and thy mother. I forgot that was the 4th commandment. Echo, read Exodus 20:12.
Exodus 20:12 reads, Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee.
So honor your father and your mother, and you will have a long life. So this is the Bible verse that was read in church today. And truth be told, I was Googling, how do you honor a unhonorable person? How do you love a person that's not worth loving? How do you, I was struggling with this. I mean, let's face it. My mom left me in the hospital. And I was in 5 homes by the time I was 5. And I was born with cerebral palsy, fetal alcohol syndrome, failure to thrive. So I had a physical disability and an emotional disability. I was actually born with depression. you know? So, and growing up, everybody told me, oh, don't be like your mother. Do you want to be like your mother? Your mother is a loser. So, they shaped my opinion of my mother. What I thought of my mother. But I even asked my mother in adulthood one day. I asked her, I picked her up. She was sitting in my kitchen table. And I said, Mother, I said, Mom. I said, Mom, did you mean to have me? And she said, her hands were trembling a little bit. She took a sip of her coffee. She took a puff of her cigarette. And she said in her German accent, Of course not any. Who in the right mind wants 13 children? I thought we were going to have a loving connection like, oh, I tried my best. I love you. I did what was best for you. No. I'd just get a puff of a cigarette. Of course not any. Who in the right mind wants 13 children? So from that day on, I'm like, I'm not picking you up. I am not taking care of you. I know you had six girls. I'm on the rotation list to pick you up, but I'm not picking you up. I don't owe that to you. So I quit picking her up. The ironic thing is I worked in a nursing home as a nursing supervisor in her later on in her life, and because I worked at a nursing home, she was able to be placed in that nursing home, ahead of a lot of people, and people couldn't understand why I gave this person her own room. I let her have a phone in her room. I let her have a refrigerator in her room. She's from Germany, so I let her have her rye bread, her raw onions, her liverwurst, and her Limburger cheese. And I really tried to be good to my mother. The problem is my mom was a very difficult patient. So there was several times that I would go in there, shut the door, and swear at her for giving the clients, for giving the workers a hard time. Well, people didn't know that was my mother. My mother was such a butthead to the employees that I never let anybody know that was my mother. She was a difficult client, and so I got wrote up several times for not treating this patient, kindly. Well, the third time I went to get wrote up, I'm like, nope, you're not writing me up because I'm quitting. Because that's my mother. They're like, oh, that's your mother? I'm like, yes. So, I mean, I tried to take care of my mom. I just couldn't. But you know what was at the heart of that? The heart of that, my not loving my mother was I listened to other people. I listened to what other people told me about my mother. All right. And I let the foster care system skew my thoughts about my mother. Right? Truth of the matter is, my mother was from Germany. And I did not find out my mom was a German Jew until she passed away. I was at her funeral and I was like, if mom is from Germany, why is she buried in a Jewish synagogue? And then it clicked. Oh my goodness. All those stories my mom told me, being knocked off her bike and the soldiers breaking her leg. She was a German Jew. I did not know that. Had I known that, I would have taken love, a more loving, compassionate. I would have sat on the bed and listened to more of her stories. So, you children out there who don't celebrate Mother's Day because you're upset with your mother, you don't care if you see your mom. You don't know your mother's story. You don't know your mother's story. So, I would suggest if you are estranged from your mother, on this Mother's Day, call her. Get her side of the story. I wish, and it's too late now. My mom has passed away. My mom passed away in 2005. And it's too late. But I wish that while my mother was alive, I would have realized that she was from Germany. But I knew that. But not only was she from Germany, but she was a German Jew. She had her own issues. She had to flee Hitler. I mean, how the heck did my mother even survive? How did she even survive to meet my mother, to come over here to America? How did she do that? Yeah, my mom might have been a butthead to me or given me up for into the foster system. I wasn't adopted because I had too many health issues. I was really a hard foster child to have. So through no fault of my own. I mean, my mom smoked and drank while she was carrying me, and I was born with cerebral palsy and depression, and life is what it is. But this is why I have a hard time every Mother's Day. And had I not listened to the world, had I not listened to the influences in my life, I might have understood my mother while she was alive. I understand her now, but she has passed away, which is sad. So, for those of you listening, if you are estranged from your mother, put those feelings aside. Put those feelings aside. How do you put those feelings aside? During church I was Googling how to love a mother that's not worth loving. How do you love, even my foster parents? They got arrested for child abuse and every mother in my life was terrible because I was in the foster system. So when Mother's Day comes around, this is all I got to go by. But you know what God told me? God told me during that sermon that if my mother was alive, I would pick up the phone and I would say, Mom, what's your side of the story? Let me get your side of the story. I would try to understand my mother. So if you are estranged from your mother, if you don't talk to your mother, pray. Do some soul searching. Pick up the phone. Get your mother's side of the story. And you know what I found when I was Googling how do you love a mother that's unlovable and stuff? During church I was doing this. You know what God told me? I said, God, I have not been doing the fourth commandment. The fourth commandment is honor your father and your mother. How do I do that? You know what God told me? He said, you can honor your father and your mother. You can honor your mother by forgiving her. By forgiving her. Profound. Absolutely profound. So, I Googled some verses on forgiveness. And this is what I found. So, I found this, poem that if my mother could write this to me, she would. And it goes like this. And for all of you children who are estranged from your mother, like I was, if your mother could talk to you, she'd probably say this. I ask you to forgive me for not telling you how much I loved you and showing it, for not hugging you and holding you so you would know how much you were loved. For my silence, I am so sorry for my silence. It confused you and injured you, and for using silence to punish you. For not allowing you to talk to me when you needed to, for ignoring you. For abusing you emotionally, psychologically, and physically. For not keeping you safe. For not protecting you. For not letting you know how proud I was of you. For not seeing you. For criticizing you, and for always telling you that things you did wrong. For not telling you that you are gifted and talented. I ask you to forgive me. Now, for some reason, God had me find this online. So I'm taking this as a message from God. That this is my mother writing this to me. And I am going to respond by saying, yes, Mom, I forgive you. And yes to all of the other four mothers that I had as a foster child. I forgive all of you. And I would like to close with this Bible verse. I looked up so many Bible verses while I, switched to this screen. For you, it was seconds. For me, it was a half hour. And I want to land and have us remember this Bible verse. Proverbs 17:9. Love prospers when a fault is forgiven, but dwelling on it separates close friends. Proverbs 17:9. So, if you are a mother that is estranged from your child for whatever the reason, pray, leave it in God's hands. Ask God to take care of it for you. I found this poem. I ask you to forgive me. And you know what, Mom? I do forgive you. And please accept this Bible verse. Please allow me to forgive you and to love you, because love prospers when a fault is forgiven. Love your mother. Call your mother up and forgive her, because love prospers when a fault is forgiven, but dwelling on it separates a mother and a child. Love prospers when a fault is forgiven, but but dwelling on it separates a mother from a child. Dwelling on that fault separates friendship. And that's just so beautiful. God is so good. God is so good, because this is the first time I've ever sat down and said that I forgive my mother. And I forgive my foster mother. And I forgive all the mothers online everywhere that have done me wrong. And in turn, please forgive me. In turn, please forgive me. I am sure I must have did something. Right? Nobody's perfect, right? We all need to forgive each other, right? So let's all forgive each other, have a little hug box, and have a happy Mother's Day. And on that note, my wonderful, beautiful souls, I will see you in the next devotional. God bless. 'Twas grace